Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you are a Game of Thrones or House of the Dragon fan and want to join in on some honest reviews and character breakdowns, you're in the right place. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and ring the bell so you never miss out on a new video. If you're into Game of Thrones and House of the Dragon, this video is for you. If you're into Game of Thrones and House of the Dragon, this video is for you. Today, I'm giving you a full spoiler-free breakdown on how Daenerys overcome Dosh Khaleen attack and strengthen her title as a queen, after she conquered and took control of Astapor, Yunkai, and marine cities in Slavers Bay. This video is connected to my previous video on how Daenerys conquered the cities in Slavers Bay using her unsullied army. And I also believe, since House of the Dragon Season 3 is soon to be aired, this video will be useful for you to get an idea on how the Targaryens ruled the world. In my previous two videos I explained that Daenerys declared herself as queen and becomes the Khaleesi to the Khal Drogo's clan. And also how she strengthened her army acquiring Unsullied from Astapor. Let's explore Daenerys' journey more. After Daenerys' establishment in Meereen, news of Daenerys' dragons and her campaign continues to reach Westeros. Though all the tales differ in details, all speak of dragons and a beautiful young queen. In Westeros, people points out that, though Viserys Targaryen is dead, Daenerys is still alive. Meanwhile in Highgarden, Leo Tyrell informs the acolytes that Daenerys has, in fact, hatched herself 3 dragons. In King's Landing, Aurane Waters reports to Queen Regent Cersei Lannister during a small council meeting that sailors speak of dragons in the east, and Qyburn later reports that the slave revolt in Astapor has spread to Meereen, stating that sailors off a dozen ships speak of dragons. In Braavos, a drunken Darion repeats tales of dragons to Maester Aemon and Samwell Tarly. Aemon becomes increasingly interested in the stories, but he is too ill to venture outside and learn about them firsthand. Samwell encounters Zondo Doru, who had seen Daenerys and her dragons in Qarth. Upon hearing Zondo's stories, Aemon becomes convinced that Daenerys is the princess that was promised, as proven by the dragons. He insists that Samwell informs the Archmaesters at the Citadel should be informed about Daenerys and the dangers at the wall, calling Daenerys our last hope, and believing that a maester should be sent to Daenerys to give her counsel. Upon his arrival at the Citadel, Samwell encounters Alleris, who listens to his stories and brings him to Archmaester Marwyn at the Ravenry. Marwyn decides to travel to Slavers Bay himself to give Daenerys his aid. Later on, Sir Barristan finds out that Jorah was spying on Daenerys. Jorah enters the throne room in Meereen. In an audience before her, a seething Daenerys demands an explanation, and Jorah says it is a plot by Tywin Lannister to divide them. Daenerys counters that the pardon was signed the year they met. Asking him whether he claims the pardon was forged, Jorah admits that it was not. He soon confesses to giving Varys information on Daenerys' activities in Essos. Daenerys angrily says that Jorah revealing her pregnancy by Khal Drogo to them led to her near poisoning at the hands of a wine merchant. Jorah protests that his actions stopped her from being poisoned, but Daenerys retorts this was only because he knew it might be coming. Jorah begs for her forgiveness, but Daenerys rebuffs him, saying he betrayed her, selling her secrets to the man she holds responsible for the death of her family. She spares his life, however, and gives him a day to leave Meereen. She warns that if he is seen in the city after that, his head will be thrown into Slavers Bay. Jorah is last seen leaving Meereen on a horse. Jorah takes Tyrion Lannister captive in Selhorys and plans to bring him to Daenerys to regain her favor. They end up joining the Second Sons under the command of Ben Plum. While the Sellsword's current contract is to fight Daenerys, Tyrion hopes to win him to her side. Daenerys retreats to her pyramid where she wants to spend time alone. Daenerys, in order to secure her bondage with the noble people of Meereen, decides to wed herself to Hizdahr, although she makes it clear that she will be the one in control. To everyone's surprise, Daenerys and Hizdahr appear in one of the fighting pits to watch the opening of the games, though Daenerys is visibly uncomfortable at the violent butchery before her, and gets up to leave, she is convinced to stay by Hizdahr. When the fighting is over, the surviving fighter reveals himself as Jorah, but Daenerys, who still hasn't forgiven him, orders him taken away. However, Jorah shouts out that he has brought Daenerys a gift. Jorah's companion enters the arena and introduces himself to Daenerys as Tyrion Lannister. Daenerys has both Tyrion and Jorah brought before her inside the Great Pyramid. Though she had doubts about the Lannisters' claimed identity, she lets him try and talk her out of executing Jorah. On Tyrion's advice, she spares Jorah's life and banishes him from Meereen again. Later, over wine, Daenerys and Tyrion speak about their families and past. Daenerys is still thinking about executing Tyrion, mostly as revenge against the Lannisters for betraying her family, but decides not to when she sees Tyrion's indifference to death. Tyrion warns her that the noble families of Westeros are too busy fighting the Game of Thrones or exhausted to help her reclaim the Iron Throne, and suggests that she consolidate her power in Meereen and build a new kingdom for herself. Daenerys firmly declares that she intends to break the wheel, not just stop it. She then informs Tyrion that she will take him on as an advisor, but confiscates his wine. She needs him to communicate in complete sentences. The next day, attended by Tyrion Lannister, Missandei, Hizdahr zo Lorak, and Daario Naharis went to arena to watch fighting games. Daenerys sits in the royal box at the Dazonax pit and watches to crowd. They are silent. Hizdahr tells her to clap her hands, which she does, beginning the great games. She then notices Jorah in the array of fighters, who gives the traditional dedication to her and manages to be the last fighter standing. At this moment, Jorah suddenly hurls a spear at the royal box, embedding itself in a son of the Harpy sneaking behind Daario. The sons of the Harpy temporarily routed, Daario, Jorah, Missandei and Tyrion look on in astonishment as Drogon, with Daenerys on his back, soars away. Later, Daenerys finds herself far away from Meereen, atop an impressive hill in a sea of green grass. Daenerys wanders away to find something for them but is shocked to see a trio of Dothraki bloodriders emerge. Within minutes, an entire Khalasa has her surrounded. Understanding what might happen to her, she quickly removes a ring and drops it in the grass, determined to leave a trail. Now a prisoner of the Khalasa, Daenerys is brought before their leader, Khal Moro, enduring remarks about her appearance from her captors. Daenerys reveals her identity, but Moro laughs off her titles, saying she is nothing more than his bed slave. Daenerys eventually returns to Viz Dothrak and arrives at the temple of the Dosh Khaleen. Inside, the other widowed Khaleesi strip her of her clothing and jewelry and give her traditional Dothraki clothing. Daenerys is then informed that she had violated Dothraki law by not immediately joining the Dosh Khaleen after Drogo died, and her fate will be decided soon by the Khali at the Cala Veshvan. During her time in captivity, Daenerys befriends a young Khaleesi named Ornella, a Lazarene girl taken from her village at the age of 12. The pair are accosted by Jorah and Daario, who have traveled to Viz Dothrak to rescue her. She tells them to cancel their rescue plan and proposes a plan of her own. Daenerys's broad smile deepens at his threats and replies that they won't have to follow her because this is where they will die. She knocks over the braziers at the center of the temple, setting the entire building aflame. Jorah and Daario move to the front of the crowd and bow last. With that, here concludes how Daenerys grew further amid all the stones thrown her way until she met overcome Dosh Khaleen attack. This chapter was all about. I hope this simple video explanation meets with your expectation. Let me know in the comments, what do you think about Daenerys's courage as a queen and mother of dragons? Impressed on her ruling skills? And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for the next chapter of Daenerys' life. See you all Game of Thrones and House of the Dragon fans in my next video on how Daenerys' life grew after met Jon Snow. Thank you for watching.